I was a kid, I used to read the Avengers all the time because that was my favorite. Also, my favorite thing about the comics was Stan Lee's soapbox, because he was like some kind of prophet to me. He would always say these profound things that meant something to me. And there's one story in particular about the Avengers that I always thought, if I ever were to do a movie, I've always been creative. I've always, had, someday I want to do this, someday. I've always been an artist, writer, and other things, and I've always had these ideas for movies, mainly science fiction, stuff like that. And there was one story in particular in the Avengers that always stuck with me. It was Wonder Man, the Vision, the same guy, different bodies. One is, neither is human anymore, but both of them feel like they are because they have a mind. And so, and they were fighting over the same girl. And that was a very interesting premise to me. And she married the fake one. The Vision was like a copy of Simon Williams, and she married the fake one, and then the real one came back not long after, actually. The wedding, a couple years, I think. Maybe a year after the wedding. Anyway, that was my favorite storyline, and I always thought, I'd like to do a movie about that. And well, I've been an artist, a writer, various things, and for print, a writer for print. And always in the back of my mind, I wanted to do movies. And so one day, I'd lost one of my businesses. I've had businesses and lost them. It's my lot in life to succeed and fail. And so I was turning 40, and about the time that I turned 40, I was thinking about all the things in my life that I've done, haven't done, the things that I meant to do that I haven't done yet. And so after I lost that business, I was like, thinking of, I was in next stage mode. What's my next stage going to be? My next stage in life. What's next for Richard Stiles? And so movies. And I was doing something. I was going through some stuff, and I came across my old Avengers comics, and there was that one, I forget the number. I still have it, where Vision and Wonder Man fought. Not so much over her as it was over, their identity. They were fighting more over an identity crisis more than they were fighting for the girl. The girl was part of it. But so anyway, it just clicked in me. That's what I want to write about. And so, but I only had like 20 or 30 issues of the Avengers. I hadn't like religiously collected them. And so I started buying them all, and eventually I didn't have them all at the same time, because the really expensive ones, I would buy them and read them, find out what they were about. And I was working on the big comic book database at the time, and I synopsized all of these issues, mainly because I knew, that I was going to have to impress Marvel and show them that I knew the source material. And so I got in as the editor at the big comic book database for the Avengers Volume 1. And so I synopsized every issue, but the most expensive ones, I realized I started on that and then dropped that train of thought, but I'm back to it now. The expensive ones, yeah, I got those, and then I read them, synopsized them, and sold them. and, not for what I had in them, but it was an investment. You know, I was doing something, and mainly to show Marvel that I know the source material, and to, you know, myself, so I would know the source material, and so I could, you know, accurately portray the Avengers in print for on screen. And so I finished that. I still have a lot of those issues. You know, a lot of the issues you can get. You know, some of the issues they're like hundreds. A couple of them, well, at least one of them, you know, is up in the thousands unless you, well, it's about 1,000 unless you get a really bad version. And but you know, the more expensive ones I got them, read them, sold them for less than I had in them. But you know, a lot of the other ones that you can get for $1, I still have those. And I still have some of the, you know, key issues. I sold my Avengers number 57, the first appearance of the Vision. His origin was in, he told his origin in 58, but in 57, that's when he like came into the picture. And I sold them both to the same woman. I was working at the flea market, and there was a woman. She was interested in my story. You know, I was going to write the Avengers. I was going to go to New York. I was going to go to New York to become a screenwriter, pursue this, and so I was selling off all those comics that I bought, the more expensive ones, and she was into what I was saying and wanted to help out, and so she was like a woman with bucks. She seemed like, well, she was, because she bought stuff that without even realizing, without even knowing or caring, you know, what it was. She just wanted to help me. And it was hot. It was summer, and I sold her my Avengers number 57 for. She ended up buying like $100 and something worth of stuff, and the biggest part of it was my Avengers number 57 for $50. And it was hot. And while she was talking to me, she was like fanning herself with that Avengers number 57, and I think very fine condition. And she was fanning herself with it because it was hot. And I was like, oh man, first appearance of the Vision, she's fanning, but she bought it. It's hers. And so anyway, I wrote my movies. I spent 3.5 years writing those movies, and it involves Kang. It's a 7-part series. It involves Kang and Ultron, and it's better than any. It's better than any movies that Marvel has put out, because I've seen their movies, and they're written by lesser gods than I. That's gods with a lower G. Don't start with me. And so, I mean, I was like the answer for them. And I made sense out of it all. I wrote about the Celestial Madonna storyline, which in the comics was like such. I mean, it was interesting as hell, but it went nowhere. To this day, I mean, I stopped in the 90s. I stopped keeping track of the Avengers in the 90s, because after that it was just like,
bullshit! No deal. So don't give me the crap.
I mean, I made up prophecies. I made up stuff for Kang. I made up a story for Kang that, I mean, it's not even been seen. No one else has ever thought of this before, what I came up with. And it was good. It was all like it was God sent. That's God sent with a uppercase G.
I can ride my bike with no handle.